Today we're going to look at biodiversity. Biodiversity is the number of species in an area, and it's really difficult to estimate the total biodiversity on Earth because many areas have not been thoroughly studied. When we're looking at biodiversity, it has both economic and ecological value within an ecosystem. So again, biodiversity is everything there. It's the number of species, whether it be fungi, whether it be a parasite of some type. All of it is part of that biodiversity, both economic and ecological. The economic value of biodiversity, it provides people with food. For us, that's probably one of the biggest things, those basic needs. It also supplies raw materials for clothing, for medicine. The ecological value of biodiversity. All of the species in the ecosystem are connected to each other, and the species depend on each other for food and for shelter. And the species sometimes are very important, and the ones that are particularly important are called keystone species. And a keystone species really influences the survival of many other species in an ecosystem. This keystone species, if it isn't part of the ecosystem, we really start to see that ecosystem fall apart. And you know that there has to be something there for the other things. And it might even surprise you sometimes what the keystone species is. It's influencing the survival of those other species. Choices people make can impact the environment either positively or negatively. We're going to look at a couple of different things. The first one is humans damaging biodiversity. There's a few ways that humans damage biodiversity. The first one is the idea that habitat destruction is a major cause of extinction. The ways we do this is by clearing forests. We do clear forests. Destroy wetlands. Those are kind of like the marshy, swampy areas that you see sometimes. Habitat fragmentation. That's where we break a habitat into smaller pieces. So it's like you have a little area where lots of animals live and everything like that. And they're nice and happy. They have shelters. There's a water source. But if something happens, like if we build a road in between the shelter, like a forest, and a lake that's their water source, build a road in between there, any animals trying to go across that road are going to end up, sick. So habitat fragmentation is what is a major cause. And species may not survive the changes. That's where the switched animals come into play. Those species may not survive the changes. Poaching. Keep in mind that poaching is illegal. It may kill or remove different animals from the habitat. And then pollution. Humans are known for their pollution. Can be introduced through the water, through air, or through food to different habitats. It may kill, weaken, or cause birth defects. Also, exotic species. When we introduce exotic species to an area, it may damage native species. We know that many times an exotic species comes into an area, like the emerald ash borer that's starting to kill all of those ash trees. And then we also have the Asian carp that takes over. We have mussels that are sometimes growing in places they're not supposed to be, so those exotic species may damage native species. The ways they can do it too, they can overcompete with the native species. Here's a picture of those Asian carps. It's like if you're out in a boat and they're going slowly, you see them start jumping up and they jump into the boat. Humans protecting and biodiversity. We do try to do things to do that too. There's captive breeding, where, animals at the zoo or whatever, we're trying to get them to mate. So those mating of animals in zoos or even wildlife preserves. Sometimes then that offspring can be released into the wild if you allow it to have the experiences needed. Laws and treaties are used to protect. There's the Endangered Species Act. There's also been a convention on international trade in endangered species, so it's one of those global things that we do to protect the environment. Habitat preservation. It protects the entire ecosystem. So it's kind of setting aside those forests. There are about 7,000 nature parks, preserves, and refuges in the world.